Welcome to the NWI.com Political Roundtable for Thursday, July 31st. I'm Robert Blaszkiewicz, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. Joined with me today, Crista Zivanovic, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. And wanted to talk, first of all, about the shakeup earlier this week, in the Gary Police Department with Wade Ingram, the police chief resigning, a new police chief being named, and then also a new approach to fighting crime in Gary being discussed as well. Your thoughts on?
Well, I think I laud and commend Chief Ingram for stepping down if he thinks that for whatever reason he no longer can be effective, and I laud the mayor for still trying. Every day I edit stories and briefs about not just violent crime happening in Gary, but business crime. There are all sorts of stores, big and little, that are robbed daily at 10 o'clock when they're closing, in the middle of the day. Sometimes they're at gunpoint. So I think I know the mayor knows she has a problem, and she's going to try a different approach. And just on the same day that was announced, we had another homicide in Gary, and we actually referred from the A1 story to that homicide that day. And Mark Chase, our columnist, noted that since '06, under 3 mayors, Gary has had 9 chiefs in 8 years.
Wow.
So, and at Mayor Freeman Wilson's request, the Indiana State Police had asked them to look into the department, and already in October the results were, quote, a profound lack of direction, authority, and discipline in the ranks, lack of supervisor training and accountability. So I commend her for seeing that there's a problem and really trying to do something about it.
Ingram's replacement, Chief McKinley, comes from within the department. And it seems like morale was one of the major issues, morale among officers.
And partly because there were so few officers, that's why Patrolman Westerfield, they believe, was killed in early July. He was alone,
and now they
responding to a domestic disturbance.
Right. And now overnight they're looking to get at
and
least
to
2
hire
men.
more. I can't remember how many more. I don't want to say the number because I don't remember the figure. But
well, perhaps bringing the chief in from within the ranks is something that, because he would recognize what the issues are in terms of the morale of the force, that maybe that's a reason that they hire from within. Shifting gears to Mike Pence, the governor, was in Washington, D.C. this week, mainly to lobby on behalf of his plan to use the Healthy Indiana Plan 2.0 as an alternative to expanding Medicaid in the state as a way to get more coverage to the working poor of Indiana.
Right, and to his credit, he recognizes that there are still about 400,000 Hoosiers with no health insurance, and Healthy Indiana, to survive, needs the blessing of the government, because with Obamacare, the idea was that we will now use Medicaid to help those lower-income people. Indiana, so far this year, is out $1 billion, that's with a B, of federal money that would have gone to insure.
And every neighboring state has expanded Medicaid, so Indiana is kind of this island of non-expansion. Question, though, if the Obama administration refuses to go along with Pence's request and says, no, you're going to have to use Medicaid, it seems like he's going to be under a lot of political pressure to not do that, because he's already under attack.
I agree.
From the right.
In his own party, he's already under attack. In fact, there's a group of radically conservative Republicans who've started an anti-Pence campaign because they are against his even trying to do something with HIP 2.0. And to his credit, I think he wants people in the state to have some form of health insurance. He just thinks that it should be, they should have to pay more out of their own pocket for it. And there are disputes about how effective that insurance would be, if it's very good, if it's too onerous on them anyway, but at least he is trying to ply for him a middle line.
Right. So, but it will be a dilemma for him,
especially if he is secretly, seriously continuing to hope to be a presidential or even vice presidential candidate.
Right, but you have to wonder if this falls through, if he refuses the Medicaid expansion, what kind of economic drag is that going to be on the state to have this many uninsured Hoosiers, to have that money not coming in from the federal government,
Right.
and not going out to healthcare
County
providers,
hospitals, providers, insurance companies that make money on people who seek health care.
And like I said, we become this island of kind of the uninsured, and it's going to be a real problem for
Right,
the
it won't
governor.
just harm people who can't get insurance, it will harm hospitals who now have to give them care through their emergency rooms, and it will harm hospitals and healthcare workers and insurance companies that get money when we go to the doctor. Everybody benefits. The economy
Right.
is buoyed.
Right, and it goes into those quality of life factors
Right.
as well.
Good point.
The overall health of the state will be downgraded, and that is something that companies that are looking to relocate do look at.
Right.
So, and also sticking with Governor Pence, while he was in Washington, he did take the time to criticize the Obama administration over the undocumented immigrant children that have been placed in the state. Your thoughts on that?
I think that it's to his credit, that's how he feels. In Indiana, there are only 245 of these children being placed either with relatives or in foster care or with social service agencies. But he wrote a letter with Senator Coates' blessing to the president that he doesn't think Indiana should in any way have to take this on. His fear is that they will stay here, they will become a drag on resources, and they will give a message to other families in Central America whose families are suffering with crime and drug issues to just keep sending these undocumented youth here. And I think that's something that he wanted to take a strong stand on. Again, possibly not just as governor, but for future political reasons.
At the same time, there are things that can be done in terms of border security, in terms of funding, the funding to solve this issue by speeding up these cases and putting the resources into that. And the Republicans today in Congress weren't able to get their act together and do anything with it. So,
despite Ann Coulter herself saying once they're here forever, because their lobby and their lawyers will keep them here. So,
and then going back locally in the Lake County, kind of an interesting little twist in the ongoing case, corruption case involving Lake Station Mayor Keith Soderquist. His attorney, former Gary Mayor Scott King, came out and tried to make a splash with these allegations that the mayor was being framed by some unknown person.
Someone bought lumber for the city and then gave the invoice to Soderquist Construction, which apparently does not exist.
Right.
The mayor says he does not own such a company, is not involved in any way in such a company.
Right.
And the mayor, through Attorney King, was saying that someone's trying to frame him in his own administration.
It seems to be a bit of an attempt to point at that shiny object, look over here, because it really has nothing to do with the case against the mayor.
Right.
This was a purchase that was just made in June. The charges came back
much earlier, in the spring.
Yeah, in the spring.
Yes, 2 federal indictments involving 15 criminal charges that he and his wife took money from the city food pantry, Lake Station Food Pantry, and from his campaign re-election money to spend at area casinos. So they're completely unrelated.
As much as they're trying to play this kind of
maybe
PR
he's trying to
game,
deflect a little bit.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to help him at all when it comes to his
either.
case. So that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another political roundtable.